the least paradoxical sense. Blah 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 whatever, you know.
Yeah. But that's implying that the strength and weakness is one thing.
Okay.
We need to clearly and cleanly say it has one absolute, like, apotheosis level strength and one apotheosis level weakness.
Don't combine the sentences. Make them two short sentences. Say, this is the greatest strength, this is the greatest weakness of truth.
But will she hate us for not having a thesis?
Yeah.
I'm not caring about the to be verbs. We are dealing with truth. There is no verb to work with other than to be.
Okay, so yeah. Throw that out. If at the end, in the editing process, we may be able to remove some, aside from that, it's not as anywhere near of monumental importance as the ideas.
No. I think I'll listen to Miss Weiser and the SAT and say truth in the least paradoxical sense has one supreme strength and one supreme weakness. I think it sounds kind of long, but according to the SAT, it's correct.
How do you know?
Because that's what Miss Weiser's teaching us.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like with all that stuff where, oh, well, it's not clear which verb is doing what to which noun.
Oh, yeah, you know.
The verb can do. It's what you do can do, a noun.
Yeah.
Running, swam, no, running, killed. Oh, wait, it can. Wait, is running a verb or a noun?
Running is a verb, Colin.
So, verbs can do things.
Since when?
Running killed Tyler Harvey.
Oh my god! Technically, I suppose that's true. No, that's not correct, because the running would have to trigger something which killed him, like a heart attack.
It's true. No more true. I am coming up with a new word for true just so I don't have to hear true or truth ever again.
I'll agree with that.
It's gonna be like egg black or something.
Egg black?
Yes. Egg black and falsehood.
Okay, I think, though, with the thesis, you could just say truth has one supreme strength and one supreme weakness, and then go from there.
That's what I got.
Okay. Is that going to be your thesis sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So what should we go on to from there?
Well, I think we can do one paragraph on its supreme strength, which is it's the foundation for all. And then its supreme weakness, which is that it's not absolute.
Okay.
How do we say that there must be an absolute truth? How do we prove that?
There must be an absolute truth?
Like a one foundational truth that is true no matter what. How do we prove that?
The only way you could prove a truth which is in no way relative is if somehow some sort of observer could remove his, her, or itself from the entire situation involved. Which is not possible.
Can relative truth grow from a relative truth?
Unless it's spontaneously combusted into existence.
Yeah, but like, if there's to be a foundational truth, because can you decide, simplifying it, can you decide something is true if you don't have prior knowledge that you know is true with which to decide that on?
No, but it doesn't matter whether or not the decision you reach is totally true, because the truth you will be starting off with is relative. So therefore, the conclusion you reach will also be relative.
But that's its weakness. I'll talk about that in the second paragraph. I think I'm really going to end up writing this first paragraph all about how truth is the basis of everything, blah, 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 blah. And then the second paragraph's going to be on how, except that can't be. So how, I need filler for this paragraph. How did we say that there must be an absolute truth?
Well, I don't think it's the absolute truth you're worried about. Instead, I think you should focus on the permeation of truth throughout all existence, because that's what I think I'm going to focus on. How truth is the basis and the agent for all existence to exist.
Yeah, so how do we decide that?
We decided that by saying that everything we experience, our outside surroundings, right, we perceive through our senses and logical conclusions, correct?
Yeah?
Well, all of our senses and logical conclusions, the frontal lobes, are based in our instinctual idea of what truth is. But in this sense, our instinct isn't pure and correct. Instead, it is flawed, giving truth its relative characteristic. Because the instinct of truth within each person is altered compared to each other person.
So, there is life on Earth. Ignoring the relativity part for a moment, there is life on Earth. True. But this must be based on another truth, that there is a planet called Earth. Correct?
Correct.
So truth cannot exist without a truth on which it is based. I think I'll even use that example.
Okay. But I think that's when we run the risk of running back into what was in our original thesis statement and saying that truth is paradoxical. Paradoxical. Because if all truth is based on all truth, and truth has no base, then you run into the problem that people have with believing that there was a God who always existed. Because then you wonder, well, where did he come from? Where did truth come from? Well, he came from himself. Well, truth came from itself. And that's the eventual argument we will have to end up making if we explore.
So we basically just said that there is no God, but truth itself is God.
No, basically all he said was that if there's a God, he exists in an almost identical state to truth. Which is ironic because that is one of his attributes, as detailed in most religions.
I'm staring at the pretty lights on my Wi-Fi machine. They're blinking.
Colin?
Yeah. I smell a roast.
Okay, now is not the time to get sidetracked by food, even if it is a roast.
Someone in the house and I'm not cooking.
Oh, that is not really okay. While that is curious, it has nothing to do with our essay. Okay, that's a lie. It actually has everything to do with our essay, but we're not going to put the connection within our essay. Or at least...
I think I have everything I need except for, again, how did we say that for something to exist, it must be true?
For something to exist, it must be true because, okay, if it exists, we are able to perceive it, correct?
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. And if we are able, all our abilities of perception are grounded in an instinctual idea of truth.
So, for something to exist, if something exists, it has truth to it because that thing exists and that is true. Which is relative, but ignoring relativity for a moment, that is true.
Yeah, that's basically the argument being made.
Okay. Anything that exists. Have you written anything yet?
Yes, I have, actually.
How much?
What? Colin?
Yeah?
What just happened?
I am trying to think about what to write. I can't think about all this and then think about how I'm going to write it on a page.
Yeah, it is actually kind of giving me a headache, too.
I keep finding that if I understand one concept, I lose the other. So then I gotta write the other one concept so I can get to the other, so I can get to the other, so I can be done. So how did we say that there must be something with which truth is based on?
Well, we said that there can't be something with which truth is based on, that it must be based on itself.
Yeah, but how did we prove that?
We laid truth as the foundation for everything, but used truth to reason it out. Therefore,
I got that I have. Anything that exists must have truth because its existence is true. So now I need to say, well, for anything to exist which is true, there must be some other truth on which it is based.
that is correct, yes.
So how do we prove that?
By saying that the very act of proving it true used a different truth.
Wait, so for anything that exists must be true, must have truth because its existence is true. But there must be a truth on which this whole thing is based because
We are using a truth to describe it.
Existence is an existence compared to something, right?